Y'all, it's your queen coming through right quick, right fast, maybe, with a Royale review for The Bernie Mac Show, Season 1, Episode 3, review and commentary. And the name of this episode is The Main Event. So this is the episode from Season 1 where Bernie calls himself trying to teach Jordan how to be a man, essentially how to defend himself when it comes to bullies and how to carry himself as a man per se. So we start off with Bernie in one of his confessionals, as I've stated quite a few times before, that this is very much so a show that is shot as a reality show. It's a scripted show, but it's shot like a reality show. And we start off with Bernie in one of his confessionals talking about his love for video games, what it does for him, and all that. And essentially, he's been using it as an outlet for his real life. And lately, it's been an outlet for his real life with the kids. And of course, Bernie is exercising gentle parenting, which is very much so different from the long line of normalized, all-out, beat your kids ass type parenting that he comes from, okay? So it gives a bit more layers and depth to what exactly he's using these video games in this moment to combat and complement, honey, the need and desire, the urge to act out violently. Okay? Some things to be unpacked at another time and another place. But we're going to proceed. So, in the next scene, he ends up walking in on Jordan. Jordan is watching the Discovery Channel, looking at like a nature show or whatever, seeing animals in their natural habitat, some lions about to eat some wolves or whatever, what have you. And Bernie is like, boy, go outside and play. Like, what is you doing? You couldn't pay us to be inside at this age during this time. Like, what are you doing? Like, the lion's gonna eat the hyena. Boom, boom, pow, pow. Ain't that much exciting. Go outside and play. Get your life, right? But we come to find out that Jordan is avoiding some circumstances as to what he's watching on TV in the National Discovery Channel. So he's walking outside, and he's described as fresh meat. And this crowd of boys, and a lot of them are fair-skinned. They don't seem to be all white, but they are quite light. And in the midst of them surrounding him and pushing him around and carrying on, there's this girl that walks up and busts him dead off in the face, honey. Knocks him clean out. He ends up having to be consoled and coddled by Bernie in a bathroom. Rightfully so, okay, because coddle tends to have a negative connotation. I don't mean it in that way. He's being rightfully coddled by his uncle. He done got beat the fuck up and carrying on. And he's trying to give him some encouraging word, but, you know, he's having to, like, tell truth beyond his capacity. Bernie, that is, in order to make Jordan feel better. And amongst those lies that he's trying to make what ought to be the truth, he like, you know, sometimes you have to fight with folks before y'all become friends and all that, and sometimes that's the truth, but that's also toxic to feed to the youth, like, because it puts in their minds that all of their relationships have to be combative before they can be good, which is not good. Okay, so the next day, Bernie gets a phone call. Jordan's at school. He done got involved in a fight. He done got beat the fuck up once again. And Bernie got to go over to the school and get the boy, counsel the boy, see what's going on, honey. He is pitiful, looking mad pitiful in the face. And Bernie really don't know how to respond to it, how to deal with it. Because back in his day, you just tell the boy, stop all that crying, be a man. Boys don't cry. Get yourself together, knock him upside the head with a brick or whatever, what have you, and keep it moving. Bernie is trying to do things differently, rightfully, reasonably so. So we get another confessional with Bernie, and this time he is with Sugar Ray Leonard. And he called himself trying to get some insight from Sugar Ray. Like, what is looking like to you? With the boy going through, what is looking like? What should I do? And Ray basically tells him, Jordan ain't about that life. He is not even really a jelly bean. I don't know if he's a lover, but he's certainly not a fighter. And you're going to have to pull him about the game. Like, it's a no-go. No-go, for sure. And we transition to a scene with Wanda coming up the hallway, telling Bernie, hey, Jordan ain't trying to go to school today. He's talking about he's sick, this, that, and the third. Basically, he lying or whatever, trying to get out of saying exactly what's going on and trying not to go to school all at the same time. So Bernie goes over to talk to him, and essentially, ain't nothing wrong with the boy. He over there trying to do some magic trick or something, honey. And this is where what Sugar Ray's word comes in at, you know? Ain't sure if he a lover. That wasn't his exact words, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Ain't sure if he's a lover, but he's certainly not a fighter. You gotta take heed to that. So what are his strengths, right? He's into National Geographics. He's into magic tricks, things of that nature. He's more of an introvert, homebody, solitude, hermit mode type shit. Let the boy stay out the way. Granted, he do still gotta learn how to deal with people. So there's something to be explored there, and there's something to be unpacked there as it concerns the black community and how we are taught to deal with such issues. Honey, I'm a hold that thought. But yeah, as it concerns this little boy at hand, you trying to keep him from going in the direction of his mama, who is strung out on drugs, and the other folk, men folk, who are in the lifestyle of the drugs and carrying on. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to teach him some different values and some different methods of how to deal with his conflicts of the world. Otherwise, you're going to lead him right down the path of where his mama at, and or perhaps worse. So all that just raises the stakes for Bernie, and also people like Bernie in the real life. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, goes over to the next scene, and Jordan is trying to, like, you know, just do his little magic trick, whatever, what have you. And Bernie is like, stop all that. That can be toxic, because you gotta embrace like what he got going on, because that can send him up a rebellious path of some darker shit. But of course, Bernie don't mean no harm. But sometimes you may not mean no harm. You just don't realize what you're doing. And that's why, you know what I'm saying, you got to have these conversations and point certain things out, even if it's discomforting, because even though you may not mean no harm, it still may be causing harm, okay? So I just hold that thought as we get through this episode, right? And so he starts going through like the age-old wise rhetoric, if you will, of telling Jordan that the first rule in conflict is to avoid conflict in the first place. And his method of doing so is to roast the fuck out of whoever is coming at him. Go for the jugular. Talk about their mama. And Jordan's like, well, what if I don't know his mama? But I'm like, that ain't the point. It don't matter. If they coming for you, you gotta come for them. You gotta fight fire with fire, okay? They coming for you, you gotta go in on their mama. If they mama fat, you gotta say something like, your mama so fat, I poured a half cup of water in the bathtub. When she sat down, it overflowed. Ha, ha, ha. And Jordan's like, well, what if they, you know what I'm saying? What if I like they mama? And Bernie is like, you don't even know they mama. Jordan like, what if they mama dead? Now, this is funny as hell to me, honestly, because in House Party 3, Bernie Mac was in there. And at the dinner table scene, Bernie Mac character say some shit like, hold on, witch Hazel. And the lady said, witch Hazel, your mama witch Hazel, you rusty, dusty bastard. And he said, oh, mama dead. That means I got to cut you. That's the rule. Cut you. And eventually on down the line, it turns into, and that's Bernie Mac character child. Oh, I know I remembered you. I even remember your name. They used to call you Jawbone. I'm sorry. That little piece just reminded me of that. That's how you know you iconic, goddamn. When a little piece of song just remind you of something else that you done been in, child. Sis! Joy said, what if they mama dead, honey? Oh, that mean I got to catch it. Okay. Bringing it back. So, yeah. Jordan like, what if I like they mama? Bernie like, you don't know they mama. He like, what if they mama dead? Bernie like, look. It ain't got nothing to do with it, child. It ain't got nothing to do with it. What you talking about? It ain't got nothing to do with nothing. They coming for you. You gotta come for them. Okay? And then he's just like, forget it. We're gonna move on. We're gonna go to plan B, which is acting crazy. Make people think you so crazy that they don't even want to fool with you. So he put phone around his mouth, started chasing Jordan all around his house. Honey, Jordan already, you know what I'm saying, shaking his boots naturally. Let alone going through this experience, honey. Bernie done traumatized the boy. And he got asthma, honey. They stopped in the living room. And Bernie's like, calm down. It's just whipped cream. I'm trying to prove a point, honey. Folks think you're crazy. They don't want to mess with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, you got to get loud. You got to act weird. Somebody get in your face, you got to make them think you going crazy, okay? Your voice. You got to, like, when people step to you, you got to back off. You better back off. And this is very reminiscent of Fresh Prince when he was talking to Ashley and he was like, back up. Just mind your business. Mind your business. That's all. Just mind your business. But in this case, Bernie feeds Jordan, yeah, man, better back off. You don't want to mess with me, man. I'm crazy. You don't want to mess with me, man. I'm crazy. Back off, man. You don't want to mess with me, man. I'm crazy. And honey, when I tell you, Jordan takes this inch and turns it into miles and miles and miles and miles. Bless your heart and hold that thought. So we transition to the next scene. And Bernie and Wanda, well, I'm finna call her Juanita, honey. Wanda are in the kitchen, they preparing for dinner, and they both are assisting each other. They are cooking together, honey. And Wanda is basically questioning his methods. Bernie is like, look, I just had to give him a couple tactics so he know how to carry himself and all this and that. You know, boy, he tender, child. He tender. So, you know what I'm saying? He need a little extra. And Wanda is like, he is special. He's unique. He's an artist. He's, you know, peculiar. He likes the magic tricks and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? He's not soft. He just a gentle soul, honey. He ain't trying to fight and all that. And he ain't gotta fight. But Bernie is like, bruh, he gonna have to fight regardless because he's a boy in this world, like rite of passage type shit. Honey, we gonna talk about it as we talk about it, okay? But Wanda is trying to balance out his methods, and Bernie is assured that he's already balanced. And he like, how you think Houdini died? He got his ass kicked, honey. He got his ass kicked. Somebody got his ass kicked at a magic shop. Man hit him in his stomach, talking about if he knew some Yo Mama jokes, probably wouldn't even happen. Bruh. No, that's what he think ought to be the truth, as opposed to what actually is the truth. And in the midst of the dispute, we hear Jordan wailing somewhere. I cannot. And Bernie makes a little joke talking about, poof. You know what I'm saying? Like he disappearing and going to see what's wrong with Jordan. Jordan crying because baby girl done took his toy car. And he ended up having a whole conniption. Now listen, another moment that Loki Hockey also makes me feel like Jordan is a crack baby. No tea, no shade, but I feel like, and I've been saying it since the first review. Check out the playlist, okay? I've been saying it since the first review, and we may unpack it in its own video or whatever, but I feel like there are implementations that couldn't have been directly touched on in this particular time period, in this particular format, that concerns Jordan potentially being a crack baby. Because he's old enough to not be having a conniption with his kid sister over a toy car like this here. There has to be something extra going on for Jordan to be having this type of moment. Him being bullied, one thing. Him being, you know, ostracized and people looking at him funny and whatnot because he's an oddball, yes. But having this sort of conniption with a toddler over a car at his age, that is a whole nother level. Okay? So, yeah. And just like Bernie is saying, she's 4 years old. And in comparison to how old Jordan is, which is about between 8 and 10, it's like, should he be having this sort of conflict with a 4-year-old like talking about? Yeah, they may have conflicts, but should it be like this? This is coming off more like a 4-year-old and a 5-6-year-old versus a 4-year-old and a 8, 9, 10-year-old. You feel me? Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. And now, I gotta say that Bernie is toxic for this, talking about, you gonna let this 4-year-old play? You do what I told you. Do what I told you. You want him to scare the fuck out of his sister? Now, okay, now what type of pattern that's gonna set up? But child, we ain't even gotta worry about this, honey. Because baby girl is about that life. He tried that shit. He said, yo, what a mess with me, man. I don't play. Yelled it to the top of his lungs and everything. Shook and moved and everything. Baby girl said, hey, give me that back, and smacked the dog shiggity at your boy. Your boy. Okay? It was Debo and Big Red. What toy car? What toy car? Okay? And Barney is looking like Ronaldo Ray. Like, I told you about coming over here messing with these people. So we back in the confessional with Bernie and Sugar Ray. And Bernie is going through the different tactics that he used when he was a little boy, going through bullying and this, that, and the third. He talking about he done threw dust in folks' eyes, hit them with textbooks and ran and all kinds of foolishness. So he asked Sugar Ray, you know what I'm saying, with all them tactics that he just dropped, what is Jordan's chances of making it through his little situation? Sugar Ray gonna say, don't get too attached to the boy. Poor Jordan, honey. Poor Jordan. Because I saw the barrier here with Bernie is that not only have times changed, but also the environment has changed. Bernie was likely living in a more like predominantly black area, like talking about in the hood, if you will, or somewhere hood adjacent, where handling violence with violence was more normalized and had lesser consequences. But Jordan is going to a preppy, predominantly white, looks like private school, and emphasis on predominantly white. Jordan is a little black boy. We know that Jordan is, low-key, high-key, harmless. He's a lover, not a fighter. He's a magician, not a fighter, for real, for real. But if he go up there, you know what I'm saying, fighting fire with them little white kids, he gonna be villainized either way. You know what I'm saying? Whether he's defending himself or not. So they're gonna have to try some different methods. But before we get to all that, we gotta transition to the next scene, and Jordan is at school, honey. And it's being played out like a lot of this episode in a National Geographic type way. And I'm gonna unpack that too, but just hold that thought. So it's at school, on the playground. He's like kind of balled up, squatted down by himself, minding his business, looking meek and mild and whatnot like he do. Big old white boy walk over there to him, talking about, you know what I'm saying, you ugly, you still ugly, and all this and that and the third, messing with the boy. I'm like, oh, what are you gonna do? You gonna cry? So Jordan takes a note from Bernie and throw a joke at him. He like, no, but your mama cried when you was born, and everybody like, ooh. So the little white boy embarrassed. So he keep messing with him, fucking with him and shit. And Jordan pick up some dust and he throw it. But he hit his friend in the eye by mistake. He like, sorry, homeboy, you know what I'm talking about. And little boy put his hands on Jordan. Jordan hit him with the binder, with the book or whatever it was that he had. Honey knocked him on his jelly ass. Big little bitch. Anyway. So this lights a fire in Jordan, honey. He feeling big now. See, that's why this type of stuff can be dangerous with kids, because they still learn about themselves and shit. So now we know that Jordan was very prone to basically wanting revenge and redemption however he could get it type shit. You know, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Issue is too though, Jordan don't know when to stop. And Jordan is picking fights with people that ain't done nothing to him just so he can prove a point. Because he really still scary at heart. He just overcompensating, honey. He done had a win and he don't want to lose no more. So he trying to X out all the chances of anybody coming at him all together. So Jordan picked him, not Jordan, honey. Bernie picked him up after school. And this time, Jordan is all playing it cool and shit. Bernie like, oh, how was school today? He like, good. Everything's fine. He's like, anybody pick on you today? He like, nope, nobody. I just did what you told me to do and acted like you. And that worked out just fine. Now, honey, this how you know Bernie got, you know what I'm saying, a good piece of arrogance on him, because the fact that he don't see anything wrong with himself and the tools that he gave him, he don't see anything wrong with what Jordan just said. Now, granted, he thinking, Jordan is just defending himself. Howsoever, you still must know with him saying that at the end that he just did what you told him to do, which was a bunch of like violent things. And once again, at a predominantly white school, you ought to know that like more happened than that. Like Jordan is way too calm, cool, and collected right now. Okay? He way too nonchalant right now. Normal Jordan, you know what I'm saying, probably would have did some shit and felt, had a bit of remorse behind it, even though he was defending himself. For him to not be showing any type of, and I ain't saying he got to feel bad, because them folks was picking on him. That ain't what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying it's out of Jordan's character. It's out of Jordan's nature to be calm, cool, and collected like that. So Bernie's arrogance definitely created noise in him picking up the regulator cues that Jordan been up at that school acting a fool. And this leads Bernie to getting home, walking into the kitchen, all happy-go-lucky and everything, proud of himself, honey, ready to tell Wanda about him, would it be him? His and Jordan's victory. But Wanda is on the phone, honey. And who is Wanda on the phone with? It take us a little minute to figure it out. But, honey, she is on the phone with the folks up there at Jordan's school. And they done told her the whole lowdown on Jordan up there. Cutting the food, honey. Cutting the food. And Wanda ain't even say nothing. Wanda ain't even say nothing, because she had already told Bernie multiple times that he did not need to be giving Jordan those specific tools that he was hell-bent on giving Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Bernie was doing what he knew. Okay, he was trying. He had good intent. But he didn't listen to his wife, honey. So, like I said, she ain't say nothing. She just handed him the phone. Because, honey, you ain't listen to me. But you gonna listen to these folks up there at Jordan School, honey. How you doing? Now, okay, so correction. It ain't the principals and stuff at the school. It's one of the parents of one of the boys that he unjustly picked a fight with. And Bernie low-key, high-key know what it is, but he on the phone trying to argue with the parent, talking about, oh, how you know he wasn't picking on him first? Shoot, if your kid acting a thing like you, I already know what time it is, and da-da-da-da. But also, I'm going to give Bernie a little bit, because Jordan, you know what I'm saying, has been complaining to him about being picked on, in which he was being picked on. He just conquered that bully, and then turned into a bully, and created victims for himself, and the father of one of them victims, you know what I'm saying, hit Bernie up. Now Bernie is up here all misinformed and carrying on and going off on somebody's parent who is rightfully upset. Tisk. So he going to Jordan to question him, ask him if he picked a fight at school. And Jordan was like, nah. He was like, you was defending yourself, right? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. He was picking on me first. And Bernie is like, okay, now, because it's a father on the phone saying that you was up there picking a fight with his son, picking on his son, bullying his son, okay? And Jordan continues to keep the lie alive, honey. So then we flash to another confessional, and this time Bernie has, I believe this man is the Godfather. I believe he's the Godfather, you know, from the movie, The Godfather. And Bernie is like, so do you think he lying? And the Godfather is like, absolutely. He's absolutely lying. And Bernie is like, Jordan wouldn't do that. He's too soft to look at me in my face and just lie. And Godfather is like, well, did Jesus think that any of the disciples and all of them folks that was hating on him would have turned on him and did all the most of what they did? You know what I'm talking about? The Judas, honey, the Judas. And Bernie is, you know what I'm saying, trying to plead his case. He don't want to believe it, honey. The Godfather take him over to the window and said, let me show you your little Judas, honey. Let me show you what your boy is putting down. And lo and behold, we look out the window, and what do we see? We see Jordan outside being a bully. Hit the beat, boom, boom. Jordan say he don't play, boom, boom. Here comes Bernie, boom, boom. Grab him by his ear, boom, boom. Pull him in the house, boom, boom. Scream and shout. Okay, they ain't screaming and shouting yet. Well, Jordan does actually let out a wail as Bernie is pulling him in the house, of course, because got him by his ear. And Bernie is a big man. Okay, and I bet his fingers are fat. So I'm sure that is indeed causing Jordan a lot of pain. And so Bernie is also fussing at him like, what is wrong with you? What done got into you? Why you going around picking fights like that? Who told you to act like that? Jordan say, you. He said, what you talking about? I ain't tell you to act like no bully. I told you to act like a bully. You told me to act like you. You calling me a bully? I ain't no bully. So now Bernie is fussing and chasing Jordan through the house. And low-key, high-key, proving everybody's points. So we back in the confessional with Sugar Ray trying to come up with another play. But this time, Sugar Ray is dressed in his Sunday's best with a spotlight, honey, giving a boxer's introduction. The introduction that would be like for a boxing match. And he starts listing down like a lot of the greats in boxing, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, Sonny Liston, the works, you know what I'm saying? He even lists Bernie Mac, honey. And even though Bernie said, you know, he used to do some boxing back in the day, a lot of people's eyebrows may raise as he's listed a bunch of boxers, you know what I'm saying? But he follows up by saying, these bullies have been, you know, and then Bernie comes in like, wait a minute, I ain't no bully. You listed me as a bully? Like, yeah. He was listing off bullies, honey, and included Mr. Bernie Mac. And Bernie's like, what you talking about? Like, what you talking about? And Sugar Ray is like, yeah, you a bully. You been a bully. Just, like, roll back that beautiful bean footage. And they roll back that footage, honey. And we got a clip of, and child, this is so reality show. Because it instantly made me think of Bravo and how the Bravo network is real good at when, like, housewives be lying or whatever, or they trying to connect the dots to something. They roll back that good footage and prove a point. Now, sometimes they be on bullshit. But as it concerns this case, you know what I'm saying? This is the flashback that is on point. Because we see Bernie walk into the living room where baby girl is in there minding her business, watching her cartoons or whatever, what have you. Bernie is like, hey, you want me to watch TV with you? She like, yeah, cool, happy, excited. Bernie takes the remote, changes the channel to a game. And Brianna started yelling, hey. He's like, hey, how you doing? Like, no, so Brianna started crying. He's like, oh, don't cry, baby girl. The Bears gonna win. And then he turns the TV up over her crying. Complete asshole, bully shit. A fool, a shame, a scandal. And they flash back to the confessional and Sugar Ray is like, yeah, a bully in his habitat, a heavyweight picking on a flyweight, picking on a little girl. And Barney is clearly ashamed of himself. Talking about, oh, I don't want to do this no more, Ray. I don't want to do this no more. So Sugar Ray just go ahead and wrap that up, and he like, all right, here we go. The main event. And that follows up with Sugar Ray giving a string of instances where Barney has bullied Jordan. We get a flash where they playing a video game together. Jordan wins. He beats Barney's high score. He's going to put his name in to claim the high score, and Barney turns off the TV, unplugs the whole thing, so you know it didn't save. Okay? And gaslights him. Talking about, oh, it just cut off. The cord just came out. Tisk! Then we get another flash of Jordan don't want to take a bath, child. And so Barney is using force and anger and loud talking to force and bully him into taking a bath. Then we get another flash, honey. Barney in there enjoying himself a good old brownie, honey. Got the icing, chocolate all over his fingers and carrying on. Jordan come in like, you ate my brownie. That was my brownie. It was in a bag with my name on it. Barney like, what? Ain't have your name on it. Looks at the bag. Jordan's name on it. Oh, yeah. Well, we family. Just terrible. So then we flash back, and Barney can't even stand and look at himself no more. He also can't stand and look at Sugar Ray no more, and tells him that he wants him to leave his house. And respectfully, Sugar Ray gets up. He walks out slowly and turns around and says, okay, bully. So Sugar Ray leaves, and Barney up there like trying to play it off and get some redemption for himself, talking about, y'all don't think I'm no bully, do you? I ain't no bully. Shoot, he lucky he left when he did. Sugar Ray. He retired. He ain't got it like that no more. And he know he on one because he looking over his shoulder talking about, he gone, ain't he? Bless your heart. Now we flash to the next scene. Barney gotta go in here and address Jordan. Jordan and they're playing a game or whatever, and Barney is like, look, Jordan, I need to talk to you. And Jordan come out his face talking about, move, Uncle Barney, I don't play. Boy, you never fucking thought, sir. You never fucking thought. But this is just more indication on how terrible of a misstep Barney has made here. But he had to clean it up. So he turned the TV off, and he like, that's exactly what I want to talk to you about. And he sits down trying to talk to him and this and that. And he's like, I've been trying to teach you that being a bully is wrong. But I made the mistake in honestly teaching you how to be a bully. And I apologize for that. I was wrong. But this got to stop. And Jordan is like, no, it's okay. Being a bully works for me. I get all this nice stuff and opportunity. And I got this cute little pen. And don't nobody mess with me. And Barney is trying to like really be serious with him and let him know, no, sir, this ain't playtime. I'm not your friend, essentially. This is a healthy way of a parent displaying, I ain't one of your little friends, without being forceful and violent and, giving the wrong example, which Barney has already given. Okay. And so he does snatch the pen from him and is like, no, I'm serious. We're not doing this. This is going back, and you gonna get it together. And Jordan is like, okay. And Barney is like, no, don't okay me. Tell me that you're not gonna be a bully no more. Now, I'm a emphasize the specific wording of what Jordan said. He says, okay, Uncle Barney, I won't be a bully at school no more. Barney is satisfied with that. And we hop on over to the next scene. And Nessa is getting like a popsicle or a pudding pop or something of the sort out the freezer. And here comes Jordan. And he grabs up the popsicle, and Nessa is like, that's mine. Like, chill out. He like, get another one. She like, ain't another one. That's the last one. So this little asshole gonna lick all over it on some nanny boo boo type shit. And Nessa is like, what is wrong with you? And just storms off. So then in the next scene, honey, he's talking crazy to Wanda. Child, I know you lying. Talking crazy to Wanda, talking about he want to go to the mall. I don't play. Wanda on the phone sound like she's trying to handle some business or whatever. He in the background. I don't play. Today. And Wanda is like, this boy must have lost his mind. Oh my gosh. Like, I know you fucking lying. Honey, Wanda got all the patience in the world. Honey, I don't condone, you know what I'm saying? Child abuse or violence against children. Okay? Just understand, I'm still young and I don't have no kids. I can't guarantee that I wouldn't have thrown something soft at him. I'd have been and went and got a pillow and wailed on him real good at least. Hell, I ain't gonna backhand him. I ain't gonna choke him. I think about choking him, but I'll go and grab a nice ass pillow and come back and just go to town on him. Just go to town on him. Anywho. Then we flash to him tussling with Brianna, baby girl, over some silly string, honey. He snatch it from Brianna, and she like, give it back. He like, you want it back? Here, get it back. And he sprays her all over with the goddamn silly string. So then we flash to Nessa and Wanda in the bathroom with baby girl trying to get the silly string out of here. Nessa talking about, just burn it out. Girl, what? My goodness. No, ma'am. She probably already traumatized. Like, what is happening? Okay. Now, that is something that drastically needed to go ahead and be nipped in the bud, because see, now Jordan has started picking on feminine beings, and we can't have that. Now, granted, there's a little white girl that also picks on him. And honey, okay, this is what we don't need to happen. The parallels. It'd be a lot of massage noir going on anyway, and that specific hatred towards black women, black girls, okay, hatred and disregard, disrespect for black women, black girls, honey. And a lot of the time, how it plays out is either and or, okay, and in this case, it would low-key, high-key be and or, okay. Little black boys have issues. Sometimes some little black boys have issues with their mothers, and or have issues with little white girls or young white girls throughout their life. If they come up in a predominantly white area, and by social conditioning and circumstances and all of that, they end up taking those frustrations out on black women and black girls. And that's low-key, high-key what has been displayed here, when unable to inflict his responsive rage on the people who dished it out to him, which is a little white boy and a little white girl. And Bernie. Okay, other black men be picking on each other and stuff too, and they take it out on black women and black girls. So we got some of that too. A little black boy being picked on by a black man, and has turned that towards the black women and black girls in his life, which is something that goes on and has gone on in real life. Okay, we just got a little lighthearted display of it. Interesting, right? Interesting. So in the midst of them trying to work out getting the silly string out of Brianna's hair, Bernie walks in and it's like, what's good? Baby girl is like, it won't come out, Uncle Bernie. And they tell him what has been going on. And Wanda is like, you got to nip this in the bud. You started this. You got to finish it. And Nessa picks up a belt and hands it to him. Wanda is like, no, absolutely not. You cannot. You done already messed up teaching him to fight violence with violence as it is. But Bernie grabs the belt and storms out. So it seems as though he is going out with the intent to go ahead and lay the smackdown on Jordan with said belt. But we got a confessional in the meantime, in between time. And Bernie is like, you know what I'm saying? You can beat some people some of the time, but you can't beat your kids. Talking about he been stripped of his weapons. But he takes accountability. He's like, it's his fault. He led by a bad example. Absolutely. And this is him also having to realize in the midst of being conflicted, because he feels like he has ran out of options, But either way, and as Wanda is trying to make the point to him also, you can't beat him, especially at this point, because you have already taught him the bad example of using violence and all of this and that. And if you beat him now, in the midst of trying to teach him that that's wrong, you're just gonna further confuse him and further enrage him and further enhance the problem. But yeah, he created the monster, and now he got to destroy it with, you know what I'm saying? Dracula, use a wooden stake. Wolfman, silver bullets. Little boys, you use a bill. Somebody he been stripped of his weapons, all this, that, and the third. How he gonna protect the village, child? How? But then he switch up. And he like, honey, he don't even need the belt. He don't even need the belt. So what he gonna do? So we flash to where Wanda is basically kind of chasing him down the hallway, trying to keep up with him and be like, no, you're gonna set a bad example. You already set the example, and now, this would just, like I said, further enrage things. And Nessa comes out the woodwork, and it's like, I can't find him nowhere. I don't think he in the house. And they like, oh, okay, he must be outside. Bernie storms off. He like, I got to do this. Because I believe that, not Jordan Child, I believe that Bernie is also coming from the standpoint of, okay, now you done made your way to not only picking on women, but picking on the women of this house, picking on the women of your family. And we can't have that. In most, you know what I'm saying, real manly man's mind, they have to defend the honor of their women. So that's where he's coming from in this state. It's just still, at the same time, parental shit. Whooping him would make the situation worse. But let's see what happened, honey. So they're halted at the window as they gaze outside. And it is full on National Geographic theme, honey. They looking out the window, and Wanda is like, I think he finna go pick a fight with them kids. Whole group of boys over there like playing, commiserating, whatever it is that they doing, honey. Joy walk over there, and the National Geographic like jungle music is playing. And Bernie is like, well, Wanda wants to go stop him, but Bernie is like, nah, this might be the lesson that he needs. Now, granted, maybe, house and never. Keep in mind that with this and with that said, Bernie is still thinking primal about the situation. He thinking Jordan might go over there and get jumped, get his ass whooped like something out. And again, that's just continuing a cycle of violence. Now Jordan, at that rate, Jordan end up having some type of post-traumatic slave disorder passed down from, you know what I'm saying, ancestors and shit like that, be triggered, and now he hate all white people and shit. Now he extra hateful towards people and want to take it out on his own people and all this and that and the third. It just continues a cycle of violence, honey. Imagine Jordan the thug. Like, no, dog. No, dog. That ain't what you want. Anywho, it goes over there, and we get narration from the jungle music that's playing from the full-on National Geographics. We don't get narration from the jungle music. We get narration from the narrator of said National Geographic. I don't know if that's a lady from National Geographic, but she's talking in a way that's National Geographic narrator-like, okay? So she like, when an animal is at its most wounded, it is also at its most dangerous. Honey, we'll unpack that in a sec. So Jordan is out there going ballistic. He done stepped in the middle of the thing. Now, honey, if you got to take a hit off of your inhaler before you cause hell, maybe you should just go sit down somewhere. But the boys crying around them like, you know what I'm saying, like they about their life, like they TTG. They finna put the smack down on them, huh? No. Jordan power up on him. He doing his own play. But instead, we hear roaring. We hear a lion roaring and all of that type of foolishness. And Jordan is putting the paws on all of them. And as he putting the paws on all of them, honey, Barney is at the window talking about, come on, Jordan, duck, right hook, left hook. Wanda's like, I don't know who works. You or Jordan? Jordan, it's one behind you, child. Just disc. They trying to teach him better. And honey, they ain't too much hardly got the tools. But you know what I'm saying? They did the best they could. They doing the best they could. Just hold, let go. Jordan knocks down all the pieces in the domino box, as in the little boys that he went over there fucking with. And the little girl, they put the paws on him at the very beginning. The little white girl, she strolls up on her bike like Debo or somebody, hops off, steps to him. He pushed the girl down. She looking all frightened, okay? Granted, it's a little girl, but I also gotta point out the display of white female virginity going on here too. Okay? Because let me also point out that his own little sister is even younger and smaller than this little white girl. The white girl punched him out, and yes, baby girl also smacked the shit out of him. Okay? Both are defenseless in comparison to him, for real, once he power up on them, because he is a boy. But he didn't have his mercy with his sister, his little black sister, who was also crying and also much smaller than him, and this little white girl, all that, okay? Okay, he ain't have all that mercy for her. But the little white girl balled up on the ground looking scared and shit, and suddenly he has a heart. But it's good that he has a heart, because there's a lesson that comes from this, and he don't need to be causing fights like he been doing, and he don't need to be beating up and picking on no little girls, no women at all, okay? Okay. Now, I know some people out there that'll disagree and be like, fuck that. She needs to keep her motherfucking hands to herself. Listen, he pushed the little girl. And I always say this, and I'm going to continue to say this. It's one thing if a girl hits a boy or a woman hits a man and that feminine being catches a reflex. It's another thing if she catches a reflex and then that man turns around and continues to beat the shit out of her. That's emotionally unstable. That man has abusive tendencies. That man has been waiting for a moment to beat the shit out of somebody, even if it's a woman. Men are strong enough, boys are strong enough to not have to beat the shit out of women. And little girls, they are strong enough to restrain. Therefore, when it comes to conflicts with women, and such as a female or a girl, woman may put their hands on a man, which is wrong, those male beings should know how to restrain them, not beat the shit out of them. Because one good hit from a man onto a woman, one good hit from a boy onto a girl can kill them. So please stop, get it out your mind, because you will be sending your male loved ones to hell and or jail. Let's not continue that cycle. Okay? Okay. So Jordan pulls back, you know what I'm saying, as the little girl is on the ground, he draws back like he wants to continue to go in on her. But he stops himself. Okay? He stops himself. And he helps the little girl up, and the little girl punches his motherfucking ass out. So, as we can see, the little girl has been to Karen boot camp already. So, it's some other work that needs to be done on her. Okay? But that's a story for another time, and I don't know if it's unpacked on another show. I'll find out, and if so, honey, maybe we'll go and unpack it. But until then, We gonna wrap this one up. So we flash inside the house, and Barney is helping Jordan nurse his wound. And he is also giving him positive reinforcement behind the fact that he did not sit up and just go in and beat up on that little girl. And he lets him know that means, hey, it's, because Jordan was saying that she looks so scared, she looks so afraid, I didn't want to be that person, you know what I'm saying? And Barney gives him more positive reinforcement. Like, that's good. That means you're a good person. That means you're really not a bully at heart. You know what I'm saying? And I want you to continue being like you know what I'm saying? And as a response to this, me personally, I would have put Jordan in a karate class, some sort of martial arts class. That way he knows, like, how to defend himself if necessary. He knows how to restrain, and he knows how to also keep his emotions in check when it comes to conflict. Because a lot of the time, it's the emotions that cause excessive violence and mindless violence that ends up in people being seriously harmed unnecessarily and or unalived unnecessarily. Okay? So knowing how to defend himself and handle conflict without going overboard and becoming something and someone that he once despised, and something and someone that has a dead end road and destiny inevitably type shit. Violence is not always the answer. Sometimes it may be necessary because people be peopling, and like I said, you got to know how to defend yourself. But martial arts can indeed teach you how to defend yourself without going too far, without doing too much, and also how to give a good little reflex, like talking about back up off me, and then restrain the person until, somebody comes to assist, break it up, be the mediator, put everybody in their separate corners, this, that, and the third. It's been done. It's plenty of videos. It's information out there. Okay? Now, so get back to this discussion on this pen that Jordan stole from one of the little boys. And Bernie is essentially like focusing in on this so that he can tell Jordan that he gonna renege on giving the pen back because he don't think it's appropriate for the little boy. He gonna have to learn a little lesson too. He don't need to be looking at that. And he tells Jordan, you ain't been looking at this pen, have you? Because it's a naked lady on it. It's one of them pens where, like, when it's turned one way, you can't see the naked lady. Like, maybe she got clothes on or whatever, or she just covered. And when it's turned another way, naked lady is exposed and all her nakedness. So Bernie wants the pen for his own entertainment, but he called himself killing two birds with one stone by acting like he's enforcing some lesson. And essentially, them little boys don't need to have their pen, but the exploring stage of being a developing child, still take the pen. That's inappropriate. And child, there may be an indication too to go ahead and start talking to Jordan about sex, honey, making sure that he is educated and informed, honey, because clearly he's being exposed to a whole lot of from his classmates, honey. But yeah, another subject for another time. And honey, that wraps up the episode. We do get just a quick little flash at the end. Usually it's like a confessional or something, but this time we get, like, I guess Barney is either picked up Jordan from school or he's dropping him off. I couldn't really tell. But he turns back to Jordan on the back seat. They in the car. And he like, show me a magic trick, Jordan. And he like, I know how to make $1 disappear. You hand me $1? So Barney gives him the $1 and he jumps out the car and runs the fuck off. And Barney is like, look, I tried. But we gotta go back to basics. Essentially, he finna whoop Jordan's ass. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I'm conflicted on this one. Again, restraint, moderation. Don't do too much. Okay? But a part of me does feel like a little bit of violence is a reasonable response to thievery. Now, there might be something I need to unpack in myself. Some of my own primal nature there. I don't know. But if you got any other suggestions on how to, teach your kids the detriment of thievery, teach a positive lesson when it comes to kids going through a thieving stage type thing, so go and drop it in the comments, honey. How do you feel? What do you feel the appropriate response is to this whole situation, everything that was going on with Jordan, and also his little ending gag, stealing? What y'all think? Great episode, honey. Great episode. Lots of things to unpack there. I also, real quick, right fast, before I wrap it up officially, I do want to bring some attention to the National Geographic element of it. And while the name of this episode is called The Main Event, you may see, this flash up here, this image that I got up here that says, there's a quote, "We're not animals." And like I said, there's a reoccurrence of a National Geographic theme going on on this episode, right? Now, on one hand, that can be placed there by the way that the sociology of school and just the sociology of it all in general, humans have a primal side, period. Half primal, half spirit, and got a whole lot of other stuff going on there. But a lot of the time, the flesh, the ego, gets more attached to the primal side because the primal side tends to be easier, seemingly, okay, before it doubles back and that clown comes back to bite that ass. You know what I'm saying? It seems to be easier in the moment for convenience to settle for the primal of it all, right? But we have to also give attention to the fact of, like I said, this is a black family in a like predominantly white and probably Hispanic Italian neighborhood. Jordan goes to a predominantly white school. He's surrounded by predominantly white kids. And by the social hierarchy, the sociology of the society that we live in, and if I'm not mistaken, they live in California, which adds extra emphasis to the social hierarchical functioning dynamics of it all. Jordan may feel less than human, ostracized like an animal amongst all these white kids, because that is how society sees him, and that is how a lot of his peers are being taught to see him. And when that big white kid was calling him ugly and carrying on, and some of them picking on him, you have to be realistic in the fact that some of it more than likely is racially motivated based off what those children are likely being exposed to and taught, be it mindfully or mindlessly, through poor examples from their parents who may be racist and or may have implicit biases that they're not totally aware of. Therefore, teaching them to disrespect and disregard Jordan as a black person and a little black boy, as somebody who is different from them. And it did remind me of Everybody Hates Chris, and how you see Chris going to that predominantly white school and Caruso amongst other white people, white kids, picking on him essentially because he's black and calling him ugly and assuming he's stupid and weak and all of this because he's black and he's also small. And they're taught to see him as small and insignificant, minor, based off the sociology of it all. And like I said, potential poor examples that they have from their own parents who may have some implicit biases and or may be straight up racist. And so I feel like there's a theme here with this like National Geographic thing and we're not animals and all of that, given like a lighthearted display and representation that black people are not animals. Like, as human beings, we're all part animals. But in saying black people, we're not animals, as in we are not subhuman. We are not only capable of the primal. We are and can be evolved and continue to evolve. Because you see how Bernie and even Wanda, in a way, kind of limited in what they were able to, the tools that they were able to give to Jordan. Even though Wanda, was coming from a more evolved place. Because they come from a more primal era. Not because they're black, but because the time period that they grew up in had more primal circumstances. A lot of it coming from white racist people. Also, igniting cycles of violence and primal behavior, excessive primal behavior, okay? But Lil Jordan naturally evolved and experienced an evolution in his character due to a difference in circumstances in the time period and also his environment. So yeah, just wanted to touch on that, and y'all also feel free to give y'all's thoughts on that theme as well. And with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this cow dry, and I'm thoroughly appreciative of the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to be back through these queenly quotas for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you all light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.